Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Rida Malik, and today I'm gonna be giving a review over the book 80/20 by Perry Marshall. Um, let's start with this, and I'm gonna give you a brief introduction to what the book says. So, 80/20 by Perry Marshall is a book for specifically for salespeople and marketers to follow it and do all the sales and marketing profitably. The main focus of this book is on making more money by working less. So, uh, so how we can make good strategies to increase our sales and do effective marketing. Um, I'm gonna go with the chapters real quick. These are the table of content. We have 25 chapters. Some of the chapters are just repeating the history, which I am going to be discussing in the first few sections. So the thing which will be repeating back again, I'm not going to tell you about those things. So let's begin with the first chapter, which is how 80/20 works and why. Okay, so 80/20 works and why. So we need to see in this chapter that when we hire people, we see that who are the actual talented people and who have the actual skills to perform the task effectively and efficiently, and those who just say or who just talk that they are capable of doing something, or they can do a particular task, but they don't have any know-how about that. So it just says that when you are hiring your employees, you need to hire them very carefully, and all of those 20% of your employees who are giving you 80% of the outcomes, these kind of employees must be appreciated, and you should reward them in every way possible just to motivate them, and this is something which 80/20 focuses on, just that those employees who are giving you more outcome would be should stay with you, and those who are not giving you much outcome, you should fire them or you can terminate them. So similarly, if we talk about the 20% of customers, so you have to keep in mind that those customers who are generating 80% of the revenue or sales or outcome, so you should like give them different facilities, in order to build a long-term relationship with them. So that's all about this chapter. Let's move towards this second chapter, which is Rack the Shotgun. Okay, here is the second chapter. Okay, rack the shotgun means that to trigger your audience in such a way that you'll be able to see that who will respond. So if you are spending your time on any project, firstly rack the shotgun and see what kind of responses you may have in order to recognize your potential customer and see that in how much quantity they exist. So that's all about it. Rack the shotguns mean that you're triggering your audience, you see the responses from them, and that's it. So let's go on the third chapter. The third chapter is You Can Do Better. Okay, so what do they say about doing better? That there is something, you know, every as if I am a salesperson or if I'm a marketer, and I'm selling something and I am somewhere not able to perform my job very effectively, or I'm not able to get that amount of sale that my company is demanding from me. So there is something in which I'm lacking somewhere. So it says that you can do better. That means you should try to there is something missing in your maybe pitch or maybe strategy. So if you're gonna follow the 80/20 rule, you'll be able to understand that um, all those missing things that we made, or the mistakes that we made while doing all that process. So we will be able to overcome that. We will be able to um, perform the task in a better way if we follow the 80/20 rule. So it's like keep on doing better, and you can become a better person if you follow the rules. That's all about this chapter. Okay, so the next chapter is 80/20 traffic, where you go to get customers. Okay, so now you have to see that what is the place where you can find your customers. So you have to see that where you can position your brand, especially here in this chapter they are talking about the positioning of your brand or business. um, the better you're going to position, the better you're going to get the response, because you should know your target audience, and you should know what um, people are actually wanting, and whether your brand is fulfilling their needs or wants. So positioning plays a very important role. You cannot sell it to any person who is not like genuinely interested. So do proper advertisement before launching a brand. Uh, Create or generate the traffic first in your brand, and then you can trigger your audience. um, so it also says that like don't just ever do cold calling. That means don't just call your customers directly, um, and just sell them straightforward anything, but rather you should create or enhance your credibility by giving them the quality information about the brand or business. And the most important thing is that you should be knowing about your product, because if you're going to have good knowledge about your product, so that will make a good impression in front of your customer. So that's all about this chapter. You When you're going to read everything, that you will be able to understand more and in detail. In chapter number 5, how to use the invisible money finder at www.8020curve.com. Okay, it says that specifically it says that invisible money, when we say invisible money, we say a money which cannot be seen, if we go deep into its meaning. But the summary of the statement is that the amount that people would love to spend over things that they feel passionate about. If I'm liking a brand, if for example I love perfumes and I want I would go beyond, and I would definitely spend money for the perfume I like, even if it's 20,000 worth, or even if it's 30,000 worth, because I have a great craze for some particular brands and for smells. So I definitely go and purchase them. Even my pocket is not supporting, but I would definitely save my salary or money or pocket money just to get that brand. So it's the level of attachment that I had with particular perfume brands. So this is how everyone does have an emotional connection towards different things. It could be related with the sports, it could be related uh, with the dresses we wear, it could be related with the food we eat, it could be related with anything. So not talking particularly about perfumes, but it's like the amount of money, the invisible money, that people would love to spend over things that they feel passionate about, and they're crazy on over those brands, so they will definitely invest towards that. So all you're going to be reading about this in this chapter. In chapter number 6, they're talking about the power triangle. Simplify your life with the power triangle. Okay, the power triangle says that three things in which they have discussed. You can make money through the power triangle, which is the traffic, conversion, and economics. As I have already discussed about the traffic means that people who came into this who came into the page. If you have social media accounts of your brand, and they are just checking them out and searching for the stuff and watching you, like they are on your page, that means they are your traffic. And if we take a real life example, we can say people who came into this store shoe. In the book they have given an example of the store shoe, where the people who came into the store is basically your traffic, and the people who are thinking that they're gonna get some benefits, what kind of benefits they could get from a shoe is that they might lost their shoe, or they don't have a new pair of shoe, or there is an event coming on and they want to wear that shoe. So probably there would be a lot of reasons, but emotionally and practically, the benefits that that shoe is giving them. So that is the conversion state. And then the economics, that what they paid for that shoe. If they have paid for that shoe, that means that's it, you got him and you got the sale. So these are the three things that is very important for any business to keep in mind: the traffic, conversion, and economics. And when he's going to see that, they'll be able to understand that who are their potential customers, and who are the people who are really willing to invest, because conversion tells the businesses that to recognize who are the potential customers. So okay, that's all about this chapter. Let's go. The 7th chapter, 80/20 conversion. Now that you have racked the shotgun, make a move. Okay, so in this chapter they have said, as I have discussed about the conversion state above, now you got the idea that who are your potential customer, and which target market you should position your brand into. So now what you have to see is rack the shotgun. As I've already told you, that racking the shotgun means that triggering your audience. Now you know your potential customer, now you are triggering your audience and make a move. That means make them move. Now see that what kind of responses you're gonna get from them. So in this chapter they have also talked about the 5 power disqualifiers, and the disqualifier says that you can disqualify those people who you think are not your potential prospects. The people who are not your potential prospects, you can disqualify them. How you going to disqualify them? That means you're not supposed to waste your time on such customers who are just there for not purchasing your product, and they're just like checking out or do window shopping or whatever. So the first disqualifier is the money. that you have to think that do they have the money to purchase the brand or product. The bleeding neck, which says that is there any sense of urgency? That means do they want that brand real quick, or do they like really need that brand? So then the third one is the USP. That means unique selling proposition. That says uh, like do they buy into your USP? Means will they gonna feel to have any benefit from your brand? It's also an important thing, that if I feel like I'm not going to be benefited from a product or service, so I would not go for that. So unique selling proposition or unique brand proposition is something which is very important for businesses to keep in mind. Then we have another disqualifier, the fourth one, like do they have the ability to say yes to your product, or does what you sell fit in their overall plan? So these were like the five disqualifiers. If businesses seize them and keep them in mind, so that would be very easy for them to find out the potential customers. Okay, so yeah, so there's a line: test fast, fail fast, move on, next. So all you have to do is to just test fast, fail fast, move on, and next. Just test the customer fastly, that is he a potential customer or not, and if he's not, then fail him and then move on, and then just keep on moving. Okay, then we have chapter number 8, which is USP, unique selling proposition. So as I told you before, something unique you need to sell, which will attract your audience towards your brand. So that's all about it. Chapter number 9 says that it's not a failure, it's testing. Hold on, I have already learned few things in this chapter. It's like if you place yourself, like assume yourself in place of a customer, and a customer needs to answer some of the questions. Like if I'm a customer, if I am a salesperson or marketer, and if I'm placing myself into the place of customers, so I need to be sure of the answers. And the questions would be like, why should I listen to you? Like if my customer might be thinking that why should I listen to a brand, or why should I believe them, or why should I buy what they are offering? So there are certain questions that a customer gets in their head, in their mind, and they want the answers to that question. So if you as a salesperson or marketer able to answer those questions, so I think you're gonna have good money. Okay, now moving towards chapter number 9. It's not failure, it's testing. In this chapter, why AdWords? Yeah, okay. Ads on Google. They have all talk about ads on Google, and let's go on the first page so that you don't get mixed. Ads on Google helps your customers to reach to your business directly. There are a lot of businesses who have been posting ads on Google. So what you have to do is that the most important points I'm telling, which 80/20 by Perry Marshall has specifically talked about, and the first point is that choose where your advert will appear. And set a budget comfortable for you. See how people are responding on your ads. like how people are responding on your ad means what advantage that your ad is having. Means if you have posted an ad and it's not giving you any sales or any audience, that means that ad is not worth it. So you have to keep in mind this as well. Then you also have to see that is your ad visible on the search bar, is it visible on top search. Alright, so now I'm going to be talking about the hiring and outsourcing, uh, 80/20 hiring and outsourcing. The chapter name is, and in which we have to see that it says that it's not an audition, it's an interview. It clearly shows that you don't have to deal with the stupid people while hiring and outsourcing them. Since sales is so crucial to a business, it's important that you hire people with an audition instead of an interview. Okay, यानी कि इसमें ये कहा गया कि आप जब लोगों को हायर करते हैं तो ऑडिशन के थ्रू हायर करें, सो दैट यू विल बी एबल टू नो दैट who is capable of doing something, instead of an interview where the stupid people just came and waste your time, and they just keep on saying that they can do this and that, and you'll hire them on the basis of their CV or on the basis of the degree that they have done, but they actually have no skills. They have zero skills. So it's better to hire a skillful person by taking his or her audition, because interviews is something which is not going to give you a clear picture about a person. So in that they have all said about this, discussed about this. Okay, so sales funnel in reverse means that basically the audition process is the sales, is the reverse process. Like the normal process is that you go to an interview and you give your interview. So it's like a meeting where two people sitting in front of each other. One is the interviewer and the second one is the interviewee, and the interviewer is asking questions and like taking interview, but it's better to take audition. So when you're taking audition, that means it's the reverse sales funnel. You're going in the reverse sales funnel. This process is known as sales funnel in reverse. Then sourcing workers online. In sourcing workers online, they have said that you can outsource the workers through online medium. If a person sitting in a power position needs to see all the above mentioned power disqualify. Okay, we have already talked about the 5 disqualifiers through which you can judge that who is the potential customer and who is not. Even if you're recruiting the employees, you'll be able to know. Then when you're outsourcing a customer, a worker, so you can just go on the online platforms like Odesk, Elance, Fiverr. These are the majorly used platforms to just find or hire the workers online. So use these platforms also by keeping in mind the 5 disqualifiers, and then you will be able to find the right person for the right job. Then managing subcontractors means that if you're dealing with subcontractors around the world and you have full-time project. Okay, so if you have a project management, a project around the world, if you have got a project, and then there are a lot of workers that are helping you out. So now what you have to do is to do the same thing the way you have done in outsourcing or in sales funnel or in like hiring and outsourcing. You also have to do the same step here, and keep on taking the auditions and keep on judging them by applying the disqualifiers, or take them to an audition drive where you'll be able to find the true potential, and just eliminate those employees who are not worthy of keeping, and keep those employees who are worthy of having. So that's all about it. And the main quoted line that I've written over here is that judge people by what they do and not by what they say. So it says all. Everything is clear in this part. So how to get more $1,000 work done with a personal assistant. In this paragraph, we will be talking about if you're gonna hire a personal assistant, and the best way for any businessman is to find out the right person for all the amount of work he cannot do by himself. Okay, so in this I would be giving you an example of a person who is very rich, and he has different activities and tasks to perform. So what he do is like he hires the people who can cook for him, the people who can give him, जैसे ड्राइवर्स होते हैं या जैसे खाने बनाने, जैसे घर साफ़ करने वाले होते हैं, तो ये सारे लोग जो होते हैं ये बेसिकली सब कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स का काम कर रहे होते हैं फॉर एन एम्प्लॉय. तो मैनेजिंग सब कॉन्ट्रैक्टर से यही मतलब है कि अगर आप एक पर्सनल असिस्टेंट हायर करते हो तो वो आपके 80% ऑफ टास्क जो कि आप कर तो सकते हो, लेकिन वो अगर आपके बिहाफ पे करता है तो आप अपने उन टास्क के ऊपर फोकस कर सकोगे जो कि आपके लिए प्रायोरिटी रखते हैं. तो इस टॉपिक के अंदर यही बताया गया है कि आपने अपना पर्सनल असिस्टेंट हायर करना है जो कि आपके 80% ऑफ टास्क जो आप नहीं करना चाहते हो, जो कि आप कर सकते हो लेकिन नहीं करना चाहते हो, क्योंकि उसके करने की वजह से आपका जो मेन टास्क है उस पर से फोकस हट जाता है. तो बेसिकली आपने उस पर्पस के लिए एक पर्सनल असिस्टेंट हायर करना है. Okay, so look at the power of a great personal assistant. Now, if your personal assistant is someone who is very great, and he has to be a trustworthy person, he has to be honest, he has to be extremely loyal towards the work you're going to assign to him. Because it also says that he is not even he's not even doing your work, but he's also kind of representing you, whole of your personality. So in the other paragraph they have talked about that your PA is your translator. So in this paragraph they have also discussed that if you are in a foreign country and your personal assistant is someone who is representing you and you don't know the language of that country, and if your personal assistant misrepresents you in that country, or if he becomes fraudulent, or if he cheats on you, so your business is all vanished and you are all spoiled at that place. And so you have to be very very careful when you are hiring your personal assistant, because he has to be a trustworthy person. If he's not, then you cannot survive in that business for longer. Okay, fire the bottom 10%. So in this paragraph they're talking about that you need to fire the bottom 10% of your employees, also your customers. Now if we talk about the customers, sometimes you just got to fire a customer. It says that sometimes you got okay, if a customer is not showing you positive response towards your brand, or if is just teasing you, or if he's just he's just there for to tease you, or not there to get to purchase your product, so you can fire your customer. It's like every business focuses on the main focus is on retaining the customers, and if you have good customers, so your business will definitely uh, go on peak. But the thing is that if your customer is still teasing you for something you haven't done, or so you can fire that customer. So similarly, for the bottom 10% of employees too, they have said that uh, it's also tough for organization to fire the employees, because they do have a kind of connection with them, or maybe they have been working for a very long time in that organization. But the thing is that you have to terminate those people, those employees who you think are not or have not given you the amount of result you were expecting from them. So just to have some courage and give them a few money if you feel bad upon terminating them, so that they'll be able to, until like the time they'll be able to get a new job, so they can survive that time easily. So 80/20 controversy, get famous by polarizing your markets, says that you have to be like focused on something, just keep a focus on something and just move on. It is just about that. So the bull eye social media technique was a very interesting technique. It says that to attract your audience, you need to have one word phrase, think, that will like get the focus, or that will become a center of gravity, and that will pull people from beyond your initial keyword focus. So that will focus, keep the customer focused on your brand. And this is the whole process, like go to the www.treatgrid.com, and then that was all the process they have tell that how you can make those one word phrases. So okay, there comes RFM, the 3D 80/20 of profitable marketing. It says that how recently does your customer purchase, and how often your customer has done purchases, and how many customers have ever spent. Three things to keep in mind: recency, frequency, money. Who was the last customer? You have to see that if the last customer has visited your outlet back again, or the other time as well, so he is the most recent customer, so you will be able to know that how recently he is coming on your shop. And then if he's coming every month, or every 2 months, that means he is someone who is preferring your brand, and would definitely is definitely your potential customer, so you will never lose that customer. And frequency means that again, that how many times he has done purchases. And money means that how many times he has given the money. Okay, so okay, my latte is too foamy, says that some people who seem to become more blessed. Okay, it's like some people seem to become more blessed, I would say, whatever the reason is behind. But even if they doesn't put much effort, they still succeed in making more money. And on the other hand, few will keep on putting efforts, but they still then not succeed the way in making money. Okay, so it says that those who are following the 80/20 rule must be having better results by not putting much effort and getting more rewards. And those who are not following the 80/20 rule are definitely putting more effort and getting no response. So there was a huge example of a girl. They have discussed about inequality versus equality. Like, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unbelievable rights, unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Okay, so you have to be equal towards your employees also. Do not feel that they are any less from you, and um, equality is a higher spiritual value. So everyone has to be equal with every single person. So finally achieving the breakthrough says that they are just thanking us. So I'm gonna thank on behalf, I'm going to be thanking everyone to who have came until the last page, and have spent some time to read the whole book and understood what they actually want to say. So it's like so it says that they are like thanking us that we got until the end page. And yeah, that's all about it. So we have managed to read the book. So do apply 80/20 principle in order to achieve more money by working less. That's all about the whole book. I hope you guys liked it, and do subscribe to my channel. um, I hope you guys understood what was inside this book, and hopefully I'll be coming with another book review, inshallah. Until then, take care of yourselves, and bye bye.